Hey YouTube, I'm back at the Lost Dwarven Fortress, and we've got some adamantine golems running around.
I hope it not fight back.
Strike as
That's
one.
kind of fight.
Looks like I didn't strictly need to fight them, but wonder what they have on them. Game's looking
Time
a
for
little buggy. It's like pausing and the music's stopping.
I'll cut
The
you.
beginning of the hunt.
Now that's a crit. Very nearly 100 damage. Beyond the open gate, you find a strange room that looks more like a workshop than the entrance to a fortress. Across the room, by the far wall, there's a metal throne. In front of it is Jarmold Skiag, who you know well. In one hand he holds a steel scepter, in the other a sacred symbol of Torag, inset with a shimmering jewel, which he recognizes as the heart of the adamantine golem. The paladin is pale and he barely opens his mouth. You're here. Help me overcome these golems. I took the scepter from the empty throne over there, but it seems my command over the golems is lacking. If I lose control over the golems, well, I'll die. Have to help. I told you it would end like this, but you are dying for a legacy. And what is that legacy worth? An army of golems? Was it worth it to come all the way just to meet your death? Wouldn't it have been easier to choke to death in your mountains at home? Rims showing no mercy. One of the golems turns its metal face to you and speaks in harmony. You all deserve to die. Thieves and impostors. By what right do you come to this fortress? This is the Skiag clan. They're the rightful heirs of the builders of this fortress. They're not Skiag. They're nameless cowards. Only I, Offeld Skiag, am worthy of bearing this clan's name. Offeld Skiag? But you're my great-great-uncle. When our clan left this fortress, you and your golems stayed behind to protect it. Come to your senses, ghost. We're your descendants. You are no one. The real Skiag would never have abandoned their creation. Those who left forever lost their right to bear this proud name. And you have the nerve to come here, to this fortress, which was built from the blood and sweat of your grandparents and abandoned by your unworthy fathers? Ha! You'll die here together with all your henchmen. Golems, attack! Grinding his teeth, Jarmold lifts the steel scepter above his head. I'm doing everything I can, but his will is too strong. Destroy the golems, or you must unmake his throne. I owe you nothing, neither you nor Torag. The gate behind you closes with a clanging sound. You will all die. You will all die.
See what they're made of.
Yeah, the game's having a lot of issues. Pausing for a second every time I cast a spell.
Won't kill me.
Not hold back.
Go.
'Tis
last of the battle golems falls to your feet. A ghost stands to the side, shaking its fist at you. Vandals, have you any idea how much time I spent creating them? The paladin's face glistens with sweat. His fingers tremble, but with what's left of his strength he clenches the steel scepter and Torag's symbol with its shimmering jewel. Quick, Harim, unmake the throne. Don't do this. Don't you see he's an impostor? He has no right to this fortress. It's mine. Mine. Let's make peace. Take the scepter from him. I will repay you generously. Harim looks at the paladin, then back at the ghost, then turns to you with a bitter sneer. Look at them, children of Torag, butting heads like two rams on a narrow mountain path. But do we need to decide something? Though these two are equally disgusting, whose side should we take? Who are you, ghost, and what are you doing here? My name, as I mentioned, is Afeld Skeg. I was a famous master. The golems I made were unrivaled, either here in the Stolen Lands or in our homeland, the Five Kingdoms. I created this throne and scepter to control a whole army of golems, ordering them to make more and more new ones. Yes, it was a glorious time. Then my fellows, worms and lice, unworthy of even wearing beards, let alone the glorious name of Skeg, betrayed everything we lived for. They decided to abandon the road, abandon the fortress, and return home with those of Wordash, cowards and Lingduck morons. They even had the nerve to accuse me of betrayal. They spread rumors that my experiments had emptied the treasury. What a ridiculous excuse. A true dwarf will find his own way, even without gold. He would sooner eat stones than give up his life work. So I stayed, the last true Skeg, the last shield on the road of shields. I had my golems to protect the fortress, perfect creatures of stone and metal, not like those cowards. With stew instead of spines, I remained here and continued to guard the fortress even as my flesh decayed, until there was nothing left of me but bones and adamantine will. Listen to me. I see you're no ordinary folk, probably in the service of some rich merchant, maybe even the local ruler. We don't need to be enemies. Let me keep guarding this fortress. In return, I'll give my best golems to serve your lord. Well, you've already broken the best ones, but I'll make new ones. Yeah, sounds like he's a little crazy. Let's go ahead and unmake the throne. Fine, alright. That's the last time I'm helping you, understood? Harim approaches the throne with the skeleton and strikes it with his fist. One blow, two, and three, and the throne crumples to pieces with a clanging sound, revealing another jewel, shimmering purple. Thank you. The paladin was beginning a speech, but Harim interrupts him. You're welcome, you're welcome. Now go back where you came from. I hope you try to make something useful from the pieces. As you say, Your Highness, the Skeg clan thanks you. We all are in your debt. I'm afraid we'll have to forget the treasures of our ancestors and return home in disgrace. Farewell. What? But now the fortress is more open. So much effort, so much suffering, and for what? They built themselves a crypt and nearly buried themselves in it. Torag, Torag. You inspire your children to build such things, and then they don't know how to get rid of them. Fools. Alright, let's go. There's no point standing here. There was mention of a shining purple gem. That we definitely did not get to pick up. I feel like there should be at least one treasure chest in a place like this.
Without a
And that
doubt.
adamantine golem should have more than, like, totally miscellaneous garbage.
I will guide us.
Rim exits the dungeon without looking back. His face bears a strange expression, a pensive half-smile. You know, Titus, I think I've realized something. Something very, very important. But I need to ponder it further. Let's talk about this later, after we return to the capital. Alright. That's vague, but sure. Should have channeled some healing before we left. Oh well. We get lots more quests. Wait for the book to finish. I think I've got that in process, repairing the sword. Search the Temple of the Cleansed with Tristan. Where that was exactly, but I think it was over on this side. Oh, hey. Yeah, Reinhardt was that other kingdom we needed to deal with. Kingdom being a very generous term. If I try to camouflage the camp, it gets even worse. Alright, so we're probably not going to be stealthing up the camp with this party set up. -1. Okay, this is much better.
My strength betrays me.
Oh well, he does have a sort of village already. These were
Slow.
level 9 fighters. And now they all have con damage. Maybe. Double slice. Neat. Oh, yeah, gotta turn that off.
Bleed for me.
We shall overcome.
Let's just circle around the corner hill.
What's that thing?
Okay. Did manage to con poison myself. Should have cast communal protection from poison before I cast that, but you know, lessons learned. Why is it coming back? What is this shit? Wow, this is properly good loot. Okay, so we took some pretty harsh con penalties, but we can probably push through the rest of whatever we run into.
Did it without breaking it.
Our path leads on.
So you decided to show up after all, just in time. I may require reinforcement. Well, this is an unlucky twist, unless you'd like to earn a little gold instead. I don't feel like this is going to get resolved peacefully, but yeah, let's just kill the criminal together. Not even close.
See what the trails look like.
That was about the most brutal we've ever murdered anything. So what now, Darvin? Where is all your arrogance gone? What do you say now? Laying in a pool of your own blood. Lixia's eyes sparkle with pleasure. Her sword swings lazily from side to side, close to Darvin's throat. Without taking his eyes from Lixia's blade, Darvin makes an effort to spit out blood. Well, I know what an honorable defeat means. Mammon's been waiting for me for a long time now, so do me a favor. Kill me now and let's be done with it. Is that cloud kill still floating around? An attempt of false bravado fails to make his dull voice sound more lively. Kill you now, simple as that. After so many years of chasing you across all of Galarian? Oh no, no way, we're taking you back to Cheliax. What awaits him there? The fire, or perhaps the chopping block, the rack, perhaps the stocks. But before all that, an honest trial. A trial so honest that you already know the outcome. I hoped you catch Darvin. Any reward for me? Seeing justice served is reward enough in itself. If you expected a reward, you obviously picked the wrong side. Execute the criminal, here and now. I didn't ask for your opinion. The life and death of Darvin are the sole concern of the Order of the Rack. Now, as for you, you are an unworthy ruler, though I wouldn't expect anything else from a bandit lord. Sooner or later, the Hell Knights will deal with your lands and bring order here. Pray to your god that you're dead by then. Can I punch her teeth out? I'm not afraid of you. Come and bring your Hell Knights with you. I'll wait. What a bitch. I was sorely tempted to just kill her. Ring that makes you immune to emotional effects. Actually seems really good. Enhanced summons. Interesting.
Forwards.
Alright. Let's head home and sell all that. But gonna take one last look around for that temple area. There it is. Oh, I'll just swap out a Miri.
Without a doubt.
And it seems weird that people praise all these weird gods when all the gods are real. And you can just pick any of them and become a cleric. Assuming your god likes you.
Strike when certain.
What a waste.
What level are these guys? 8. These poor guys.
Become as dust.
The City of Hollow Eyes.
Any fun to be had? A simple request.
The very tippy edge of the map. I'll stop by home first to rest and sell stuff. And talk to Harun. And I think we can teleport half the way from here. So lots of good things. Okay. Points of interest have appeared. Oh, nice. Military +6. Ooh. Economy and relations +7. We don't get any BP from it. Not yet. Lindsay is terrified. As much as I want to save puppies, looks like I need a new guard headquarters. Oh shit. I didn't think that was the kind that forces you into the 2 weeks. Okay, everyone suddenly wants my attention. Okay, so I still have a chance to save the puppies. Let's see what Lindsay's terrified about. Lindsay's eyes glitter and her nostrils flare with rage, but for some reason she speaks in a whisper. Such insolence! Such unforgettable, monstrous, unimaginable insolence! What happened? The throne, the royal throne, it... Huh, my throne is completely missing. This is unexpected. I'm surprised by your self-control. If I were you, I'd go on a rampage. Shameless scum, how could they go and rob the royal palace with the king still alive and well? In fact, our case is blatantly and extraordinarily, but hardly exceptional. Word on the street is that the local population has become sick and tired of thieves. They break into people's homes, bypass the locks and latches, and steal everything they can. And now the scum has the guts to meddle with royal property. We need to sort this out before they steal the whole kingdom, one brick at a time. And we need to get back your throne. It's shameful. Lindsay regains control of herself and continues in a low whisper. I really hope your people won't go wagging their tongues and spreading filthy rumors. I feel like Lindsay probably spread some rumors already. In your opinion, where should I begin this investigation? You should start with interrogating potential witnesses. I think the captain of the guard was in the palace when it happened. He was the one who discovered the throne was missing, at least. Then you should go to the city. I heard the smith was robbed recently, too. Maybe he can give you some clues. Also, if I were you, I'd talk to the trader. He might have some hints as to who may be selling stolen goods. Oh, and one more thing. Don't forget to visit the innkeeper. Who better to glean information from any troubled locals finding themselves in need of a shoulder to cry on. What were my guards doing? Lindsay flings her arms up. Well, you weren't on the throne at the time it was stolen, right? And our guards are trained to guard people, not furniture. The bar gives you a faint smile. Sure, if the throne was stolen with you still sitting on it, things would be much worse. That's not much consolation, though. I mean, she's got a point.
We march ahead.
But, I mean, I've got so many guards just sitting around. I'm now questioning their pay.
How may I serve you, Your Highness?
How are you managing the responsibilities of the main guard?
As you know, this land is quite a troublesome place. But as long as its people trust their guards, at least a bit, and as long as those guards are loyal to their ruler, then we'll be able to deal with any trouble that comes.
Yep.
I will guide us.
We'll just have to deal with them without sitting down, won't we, Keston?
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I needed to rest and heal. Hopefully they didn't steal my bed, too. Ooh. Belt of Con +6. That's a royal gift. And then King Titus proudly said, "Your evil deeds end now." Or is it better as, "We've uncovered your vile plan." She interrupts herself and looks up. "Oh, Your Highness, we have unbelievably, terribly important news. We've managed to find out, discover, invent... Well, here, he'll tell you." The storyteller waits patiently until Lindsay finishes her ardent speech. "I'll have to begin from afar to let you know what I saw with my blind eyes. The stolen ants are like a cradle in an abandoned house in which the wind swings the skeleton of a child. No few newborn kingdoms have died here, just after taking their first breath. I've collected their stories, these precious stars that have been lost in the dust, and I began to notice some commonalities. It's like a pattern that repeats across different embroideries, the handwriting of the same author across all their stories. One word here, another hint there, false visions, references to mysterious patroness, lover, and mentor, tragic coincidences, strangely non-random. People and countries were brought to destruction along different roads, but behind them there always stood the same ominous shadow. And we know what that shadow is, Nerissa. Yeah, thanks guys, we've known that for like a year in-game. The name sounds ominous, even in the mouth of a restless bard. The evil nymph who set monsters to our lands and did all that stuff to Tristan. But that's not even the most important thing. Most importantly, if you help us a bit, we can get her. But that's important. What exactly are you going to do? The bards know how to send messages through dreams. I try not to use it. For some reason people get mad when I appear in their dreams to read people my new poems. That's an amazing use of that skill. Well, the storyteller came up with a ritual based on that spell. We'll collect everything connected to Nerissa, everything, starting with her every track in the abandoned castle. After gathering everything, we'll unite this ability to tell stories with my ability to travel into dreams, so we'll be able to enter Nerissa's dream. Do we still have that amulet with the string of hair that she gave you before the battle with the Stag Lord? That'd be great. That'll let us finish all the preparations much faster and easier. What will we achieve by this? We'll learn all her evil secrets. The ritual will let us see her hidden thoughts and dreams. Well, theoretically, it's not like anyone's ever done this before. It can be dangerous. In dreams, monsters are more terrible than those we meet in the real world. But I urge you to not neglect this chance, King. You are opposed to a powerful enemy, one who has destroyed dozens of kingdoms and empires. If you do not meet her face to face, do not discover her weakness. Your country will end up just another of my stories. Alright, let's do this. Come to me after we finish the preparations, and remember that I cannot send anyone except you and Lindsay into Nerissa's dream world. Whatever you have to face, you will have to overcome together, and the path will likely be difficult. Ew, I was hoping to have a party with me, but okay. I don't know why it took me so long to realize, but I am just sitting on nothing. Your Highness, a decision has to be made regarding the bullets that inhabit one of your regions. The guards in a local hunting club seek them out and kill them, as they should, but the scholarly community of the kingdom has objected to this. Some zoologist has declared that these bullets are a rare species, or subspecies. Long story short, they only live around these parts and nowhere else. Your Highness, the scholars ask that we take these lands under our protection and outlaw the killing of these bullets. However, I firmly believe that the beast should be eradicated. The safety of local peasants outweighs other concerns. Yeah, bullets are pretty serious. We should be eradicating those. -5 to relations. That's a little harsh. I was hoping it would be -5 to arcane. Or minus something to arcane. Not -5. Titus. The chronicler will remember you as a great king, not a mere baron. But even if you were an emperor, you would still be wise to seek divine support. 4 influential priests has arrived at your court to plead for a temple honoring their gods. Each wishes your kingdom to prosper under the blessings of their god. We must choose between Caden. Caden's a cool adventurer god. Avadar, the god of law. Gorum, god of battle, and Asmodeus. Asmodeus isn't one of my options. I advise you to consider Gorum. His road to the end of things is at least simple and direct. Why don't you suggest a temple to your own god? Why would I? All temples will eventually be destroyed. All of Grodius's priests will turn to dust like the priest of every other god. There are few who can hear his whispers, and we are satisfied with ruined temples to other gods. I prefer Caden. The drunk hero? The one who hopes to drink himself into oblivion rather than face the inevitable end that comes for him? I disapprove of your decision, but I will not oppose you on this. Divine protection from fear is kind of a big deal.
Forwards.
It's over, yes. I thought I was free of my past burdens when I accepted Grodius's truth into my heart, but it's only now that I have become truly free. You know, Titus, I used to hate them all so much. The dwarves who ousted me, the god who rejected me. Now I look upon this, and I can barely remember that hatred. How pathetic they are, with their pride and their stubbornness, building their toys to die among them, powerless to unmake the things they've made. I'd laugh, but in fact it makes me want to cry. I really like this skybox here. But on the other hand, I thought, how should I put it? My gift, wherever it came from, the gift to destroy, to help others create. Perhaps my god does something similar. Everything that has a beginning has an end as well. One day Grodius will be free and destroy this world. But imagine what will happen then, after the end. Perhaps a new beginning, a new creation in a new world? Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, thank you, Titus. Without you, I'd have kept going in circles, while resentment and hatred gnawed at me from the inside. You helped me find peace, and I swear by Grodius I won't leave your side until it's our turn to crumble to dust. It was good that we helped the paladin. It was an act of kindness. Good, bad. They were driven by greed and pride. Truth be told, the two don't differ much. Both true children of the Skiag clan, and the true followers of Torag. There's nothing to be proud of here. I care not who won the fortress. What draws my mind are thoughts of my place in the world and the true meaning of serving Grodius. Destroying, creating something new from the pieces, and destroying it again. Isn't that what you're doing here now, in the Stolen Lands? You've built your kingdom up on the ashes of countless predecessors. Ponder this when you have the time. Okay,
Our path leads
we
on.
need to talk to people. See if anyone suspicious ran by. Do you know where stolen goods are sold? How very polite. You did not ask me directly, but no, I am not involved in such shady dealings, although the local traders sometimes claim otherwise. Some say that anything that's lying about will be stolen in this city, but then cannot be found for sale. You're not the first to ask after stolen goods. Many hope to find on the black market what precious things were stolen from their homes, but alas, it would seem the thieves have their own ways of getting rid of the stolen goods.
Without a doubt.
And our smith had his tools stolen. Okay, the thieves had magic portals.
I will guide us.
There's a number of thefts in town. Do you know anything about it? Of course I heard about it, Your Highness. Many houses have been robbed. And here's what's strange. No picked lock, no broken windows. How do scoundrels get inside, huh? Those thieves are real masters of getting into other people's houses. They steal whatever they find. At one house, they stole the silverware. Another one, they left the money but took the children's toys. Strange thieves. Seems like they're just stealing random things. Oh, that pretty much writes off humans as potential thieves. They're probably like some sort of fey tricksters. Oh yeah, wanted to talk to Jubilos too. Jubilos greet you with unusual hospitality. Titus, I'm happy to see you. We haven't talked much about our adventure by the Candlemere. You know, I'm even sad that everything is over. Not only because I didn't find a way to help all the gnomes, it's just that another mystery is behind me, another road had ended. But it was a wonderful journey, and in good company. What are you going to do now? I hope my humble talents will be of use to you and your kingdom. Clearly it could do with help of an expert in the first world, so I'll be around while I can be useful. Then I'll probably set off on another journey. The world is a big place, and there are many more secrets to be found. What do you think about everything that's happened? The games of gods, the games of the eldest, how little we matter in the clash of powers of such scale. It boggles the mind. But at least now I know the secret. And I can boast that I turned into a huge frog to win a secret from a demigod from another world. It's impressive, I admit. that you've lost. I admit it. You had a bit of fun back there, didn't you? Don't tell anyone, but I did too. What an amazing adventure. Allow me to say, in all sincerity, I'm glad that fate brought us together, Titus. Let's see, is Jubilost kind of done with his side quest? Yeah. He's got the picture at the bottom. Whatever kingdom exclamation mark that is can wait. Let's hit up the city of Hollow Eyes. Oh wait, shit. I haven't tried teleporting yet. I mean, honestly didn't save me much time, but it's something.
May we have a moment of respite? We got some kind of quest update about Pitax, but it didn't show up in my quest journal. May we have a moment of respite?
Let's go ahead and save.
I shall end his suffering.
Repent!
Knock knock, you say. I get on fire first.
Hear me!
Repent!
Be easier if you not fight back. Yeah.
Forwards.
Oh yeah, because we've been here before. Let's see if I can finally interact with these guys.
Stand with me.
I knew that would happen, but
Your life ebbs low.
it was too funny. It was just a magic rock that made you want it.
Cannot hide
And once
from
we
me.
dispelled the magic on the rock, they're like, oh, I guess we'll take you instead.
Without a doubt. Our path leads on.
So somewhere there's an angry cult.
I will guide us.
I did it. I did.
Let's finish them quick.
I'll cut you!
Come here, Bax. Knock. Use.
You forced my hand.
What a waste!
Without a doubt.
My search was not
I
in
did
vain.
it. I did.
+2 adamantine furious longsword. That's pretty cool.
Yes!
Nowhere to run.
Oh, I guess we found the cultist.
Sunflower, grant me strength.
Might have nicked my friend there.
Not used to lighting enemies on fire first.
Oh, Sarah, I see your light.
Be easier if you not fight back.
Saren Ray, be generous. I am not.
Deep.
Forwards.
Is that it? That was very base. Okay, yeah. Doesn't say we've taken out their leader.
Oh, sorry. Was lost here.
We march ahead.
Now is the beginning of the hunt.
Come here, back. Not stab you.
Ends you.
I'll try to make this quick. So it's come to this.
Die for me!
Repent!
Bleed for me!
Your life ebbs.
I yearn for entertainment.
Riti. Na Heya Urama. Ha I Riti.
Without a doubt.
Have you seen that
I will
meme
guide us.
where Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura are standing together? It's like this team at 100% power, and then Sakura's missing, and it's like this team at 99% power. That's how I feel about Tristan. If he dies, we're still at 99% power.
Did it without breaking it.
I don't think I noticed this tiny little hut before. Conquer, I gotta
Who will prevail?
go.
Does it matter?
Attack!
To the
Which
dust
knife to
you will
use?
go.
Never mind. Where do I spells on this?
Used to lighting enemies on fire first.
Patience.
I'm listening. Share your troubles.
Dealt with a ton of bandits, but I haven't seen... Or cultists, but I haven't seen their leader.
Our path leads on. Forwards.
Knock more runner and talker than fighter. Be easier if you not fight back. Knife time!
Cannot hide from me.
Without a doubt.
Getting close. I see he cast Bless.
Yes, I'm still here.
Together we are unstoppable.
Now, Ada,
Escape
Morana.
from sight.
Es Ax Yas.
Oh dang. We knew where he was, but it didn't help me save her. Or did it? The first faithful looks at you from under a hood drawn over his eyes. Despite his face being cast in shadow, you see deep wrinkles near the priest's mouth, and dark circles under his eyes. You again. Damn it, I lost my voice because of endless prayers to my stern goddess. Whatever you have in mind, your cursed highness, you won't stop us. I shall return these people to grace. Please, my king, I have to die. In praise of the kingdom, I am the last hope. Poor lost souls, you've been fooled, deceived. Stay your hand, Ruthgert, while you still can. Ekin watches Ruthgert every move closely. His hands, usually tightly holding a weapon, seem to tremble slightly. Stop, don't do something you can't undo. Of course, I can undo it. We've got a lot of healing magic here. The priest bites his lip. You're wrong, my king. I know how to fix everything. I can return the grace of the goddess. I know what I'm doing. The knife in Ruthgert's hand starts to shake. My congregation is depending on me. I failed once to beg salvation from Arestil. Now I must beg it from the goddess. Enough, Ruthgert. It's only your pride and despair talking. The goddess will not return. She used the kingdom, then abandoned it to the mercy of fate, the same way she used and abandoned me. Put down the blade. Stop this madness. Ruthgert shifts his gaze from you to Tristan and back. You're so happy in your ignorance. Do you have any idea what it feels like to lose the grace of the deity you've served all your life? Yeah, he kinda does. I'm so tired.
From sight.
One final sacrifice. Well then. I mean, an ending's an ending. Tristan's face seems to emit a soft radiance, and his entire figure is enveloped with a vibrant golden haze. He moves his lips as if speaking with someone. Are you talking to Serene? Tristan opens his eyes wide, and there's a molten gold under his eyelids, emitting a warm light. Tristan's voice roars, as if a whole host of divine creatures speaks through him. Titus? I'm here, and with me, the light of my goddess. What's going on? The most merciful believes that I have drained the cup of retribution to its dregs. In turning away from her will, I set in motion events that hurt the lives of many mortals. In her wrath, she took away what once she had granted, until I cleansed myself of pride and cowardice. She decided to return me to her. She's agreed to spare me my mortal chains, that I may spread my wings once more. Tristan laughs happily, and the unseen choir turns his laughter into a symphony. O lady mine, my healing light, never shall I stumble again and leave you. But, the diva sighs, stunned as if remembering something. But Nerissa, and the stolen lands, and you. Go to Serenade, Tristan. It's what you've always wanted. Tristan freezes, and the golden veil that enveloped him begins to vibrate. Yes, Titus, yes, but not now. My goddess sees a darkness upon the stolen lands. Such evil must not cast its shadow on Galarian. It must be burned to nothingness, by mercy or deliverance. I am Serenade's warrior, and I will do my duty, and then I will be returned to her light. You watch the divine glow fade and disappear. Tristan slumps to the ground, sighs, and opens his blind eyes. She's gone. He lowers his head and suddenly shivers, as if chilled to the bone. It's so cold without her glow. Tristan stands tall and turns to you. There's an infinite tranquility on his face. But her light is with me again, here. He touches his chest and smiles. Not at you, but at only his blind eyes can see. I'm glad you endured this ordeal and found forgiveness, and I'm pleased that I could help you. Tristan lowers his head. I was just hoping to repair something, to make amends. And for this I have received the grace of my goddess, and it's all because you didn't turn away from me in my darkest hour. I don't know if I can ever repay you for this. I was just hoping to repair something. Well, if you don't mind, let us go home. We still have plenty of time to discuss what happened. got some interesting stuff.
Nothing bars my way.
I believe I found something.
We march ahead.
Okay. Okay. Wish I could put a mage tower in Varnold. Oh, yeah, I can actually claim the Dunsword area.
Have a moment of respite.
So, I may as well build a town out here and put a mage tower in it. Actually, when you first build it, it's a village, so I don't think I have the ability to put a mage tower in a village.
My strength betrays me.
Then I'll have to keep crawling through these mountains and river passes.
A rest would be welcome.
Time to search for the spot to rest.
Disaster. It's a disaster, Your Highness. What is it, Lindsay? The whole kingdom's on fire. Well, metaphorically speaking, and some of it literally. First of all, we've got armed gangs ranging along our border with Pitax, robbing and killing people, destroying food stores, and damaging any property they come across. Second, there are sudden and inexplicable monster attacks being reported all through your lands. And third, there are people out sowing dissent with rumors and songs, even handing out pamphlets mounting your failure to fix things, and encouraging the citizens to pledge fealty to your Vedi instead. Our governors are panicking. They've had to use all the funds we budgeted them from the treasury on preventing riots and mass hysteria, Several provinces have already refused to attempt gathering taxes from the people, claiming that would just be tantamount to suicide. We don't have much time. There may be no troops marching against us, but more of our regions are under attack each day. We may not have catapults firing on our walls of the capital, but there's no doubt we're under siege. There are no battlefronts and no battalions, but there are plenty of victims. We've been attacked, without reason and without declaration of war. We have only one option. To kick Iravetti's ass and show everyone in the river kingdoms just who's the master around here. Why am I just now hearing about this? At first, no one thought these isolated events could be part of some conspiracy. Even now, it's likely few have figured it out. But these events have all developed too quickly and in what seems like a concerted effort. As though someone were pulling the strings behind the curtain. And there's more than enough evidence tying these strings to Pitax. So you think Iravetti's behind all this? Who else could it be? Bandit attacks are increasing along our border with Pitax, and the bards sprouting negative propaganda against you are singing the praise of Iravetti at the same time. Hell, he even invited you to the Rushlight tournament for the sole purpose of mocking you. Who else would backstab their opponent in such a low, conniving way? This is just like him, that nasty, slimy, fat-headed prick. If he were here right now... Lindsay clutches the air as though gripping the throat of an invisible enemy. What do we know about the monster attacks? The reports are controversial. They talk about things you wouldn't even hear of in fairy tales. Educated wyverns, trolls wearing armor, even undetectable goblin ghosts. But all the testimonies agree on one thing. They emerge in small groups, literally from nowhere, in the middle of a field, in the center of a city square, on fortress parapets. One inn reported monsters rushing into the common hall from bedrooms and storerooms. And in a temple nearby, the monsters fell down on the heads of the praying congregation, breaking through the roof with a wild roar. Just a few hours ago, a messenger showed up at the castle with a missive offering the services of a group of rangers who specialize in investigating mysterious cases similar to these. For a small fee, they're ready to facilitate establishing the nature of these inexplicable events. I suppose we should take them up on it. I have no idea how else we'd go about finding the source of these attacks. Do we know who's spreading the propaganda? Yes and no. The bards handing out pamphlets and singing slander about you have been seen in city streets, but none have been caught. Obviously someplace in Pitax is training these people in printing up their pamphlets, and judging by the style and quality of the text, someone from Pitax's Academy of Grand Arts was tasked with this mudslinging. I'd recognize their style of verse from a mile away, and if I were you, that's where I'd start looking for agitators. I thought the Stolen Lands were used to dealing with bandits. Thing is, they may be dressed like bandits, but they're behaving completely differently. Bandits wouldn't decimate the peasant population, burn their fields, and poison their wells. Then there wouldn't be anyone to extort next time. Much more profitable to just take them down every once in a while. That's why local thugs tend to be well known, but nobody recognizes these new ones. And all that's left behind of their raids are corpses and scorched fields. It's gotten to the point that our bandits are fighting these outsiders. Some of the villagers are even gathering weapons and supplies to help our bandits because they at least let them live, but they're still losing. Do we have any definitive proof? Not yet, but I'm sure the agents we hired will have something we can use. It's a good idea, though. Expose Iravetti, show the whole world the dirty game he's playing. It would definitely help us. When you deal with his spies, be sure to keep your eyes open. Fortunately, the situation could be worse. Your decisive victory in the Rushlight tournament really bolstered the people's faith in you and your abilities. It's funny how such nonsense can affect people's minds more than real feats and atrocities do. But this works out in our favor. Thanks to that victory, we'll have a little more time to deal with whatever vile acts that madman from Pitax throws at us. Man, my calves and glutes gotta be burning. Sitting on my invisible throne.
rest would be welcome. I will guide us.
Okay, so we've got someone dealing with the monsters. That was one of the cards. But it looks like we'll have to get a little more hands-on with the bandits. Okay, hopefully Valerie can handle that.
Without a doubt. Forwards. Our path leads on.
Man, my armies will never be wanting for good gear. keep meaning to read some of these books, and I never seem to get around to it. Okay, we're suddenly doing pretty well in money again. It's enough for like one super magical belt. I need to find out where Rigongar's tribe is from. There it is. I'm glad we finished that thing that let us move over land 20% faster. In our kingdom.
My strength betrays me.
Gnawed rocks. Alright, now we get to find out why Rigongar's family sold him. Well, we would, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of people around to ask. Ingid, son of Shatara. In the dry grass you can barely make out signs that people once lived here. Burned bits of tent, rusty swords, rain-washed bones. An old half-orc is the only living soul among the desolation. Wrapped in a charred mantle, he sits on the ground, devouring a raw rabbit and tossing the bones to a dog lying at his feet. He squints as you approach, but he doesn't reach for any weapons. Who's there? No one comes by here anymore. I'm Rigongar, a son of the Sharp Fangs tribe, and they sold me into slavery. Where are the Sharp Fangs? You're looking at them. The old man points to the bones scattered along the ground. All there, elders to children. Just me left of the Sharp Fangs. Well, me and you. Grim scans the wasteland, covered with bones and with a long, pensive look. Without saying a word, the dwarf takes a deep breath and starts fiddling with his beard. Who are you? Inged, son of Shatara, and last of the Sharp Fangs tribe. Got nowhere to go, and my hands have been feeble a long time. I sit here and eat whatever coal brings me, waiting for some kind person to pass by and help an old man bury all these bones. But no one comes here. Must think it's a cursed place, and they're right. Tell me about your tribe. Our tribe was always stronger, braver, and more valiant than the other tribes. Know why? We had a tradition, mixing our blood with orc blood. Orc power with human prowess. We took the best of both races, no rooms for weaklings in the tribe. Weak children were either left in the field or sold to someone from the city. You say you were sold? Must have been sickly. What good would that do the tribe? Don't blame us for your own weakness. As Ragongar clenches his fist, Octavia places a hand on his shoulder. Easy now, let him finish. What happened to the Sharp Fangs? Dead? All dead. Chieftain's son destroyed them. See, Chieftain Agden, may he feast eternally with Gorum, he didn't want anyone else's kid to become chieftain after him, so he needed an heir with incredible power. And that's why he chose Gra the Dragon Eye to bear his children. She was a mighty orc warrior who scorched her enemies with lightning, boasted of having dragons in her family. She demanded a lot of gold for it, but she delivered more than she promised. She had not one child, but twins. Agden thought a while on what to do, then wisely decided that a tribe doesn't need two chieftains. Sold the weaker one to someone from the city to get back some of the gold he spent. Started raising the second one, Stragar, to be our new chieftain. The boy was alright, deft, cunning, strong, and he knew how to use the dragon charms. Could strike an elk with lightning from his hands when he was knee-high. But there must have been too much orc and dragon blood in him, and too little human. Older he got, the more, well, you know, man knocks on his head with a bony knuckle. Had a temper like a dragon. If something went wrong, he'd start fighting right off. Couldn't tell his tribe folk from strangers and would shoot lightning at the tiniest provocation. Was always cocky with his father, too. Called him names, screaming about how the chieftain sold his brother, saying he'd look for him and return him to the tribe. In a word, crazy. Anyone else would have been happy that the chieftain's mantle, the one I now wear, anyone else would be happy to be getting the mantle, especially with no rivals for it. But he was stubborn, wanted his brother back, no matter what. Then one time, Agdan grew tired of Stragar's whims, decided to teach him a lesson, as a father does, knocked him a couple times with a long rod, and that was it. Boy screamed like the hells, and his eyes flared blue, started shooting lightning all around. It was terrifying. I still see it in my sleep. Flame, smoke, lightning everywhere, tents burning one after another. I was too old to fight, so I hid behind a hillock and stayed out of the way. Some of the others, they went at him with swords, and they all died. No one survived. Even the little ones were burned alive. He took as good as he gave, though, died of wounds soon after. And that was the end of the Sharp Fangs. Ragongar looks at the bones scattered in the grass, baffled. Brother. He sounds like a nice guy, best in his tribe, a lot like you. I wish I could have met him. Me too. I'm sorry, discovering something like this is hard. Get lost, I don't need your pity. So what do you say, Ragongar? Well, what's there to say? Lend me a hand here. Let's give these jerks a proper burial, at least. That's quite the mass burial. Lad, you're Stragar's brother? The chieftain's second son? This is yours, then. The old man drops the charred mantle from his shoulders, holding it out to Ragongar. Tribe might be gone, but the chieftain's mantle is yours by right. Thanks, old man. May the gods grant their souls peace. Ragongar looks at you. Let's go. Nothing left to do here. Ooh. Ragongar. What? Oh, yeah. Ragongar's just heading out. It's Not even gonna stay in
Without a
my
doubt.
party. Guess things bothered him more than he let on. Oh, okay, now he's back. Actually, this Blondish shield would be way better on my main character. As long as he can cast it.
I will guide us.
Strike when certain.
Get a bunch of gargoyles around.
Come here, Bax. Knock, stab you. Yeah.
Do not hold
That
back.
hurt.
No strike wasted.
Which knife to use?
Nowhere to run. Asset exposed.
I'll cut you.
Grotus awaits us.
I see something!
What's up with that? Gargoyles don't even use weapons. There's a little armor stashed there.
I'm quite a social person, you know. I enjoy meeting new people.
What's the
They
holdup?
didn't learn to keep away from me yet.
Here!
I
We
aim
will
true.
prevail.
That hurt?
I grant your death.
Weak succumb. I endure.
Consider provoked!
Looks like that's it. Just a big old curvy path with lots of gargoyles. Now we need to get down to Pitax. Although,
My strength retrieves me.
taking the forest route probably wasn't the fastest way. Ah, there's a little town. Been meaning to head there. But I'm having trouble getting over the water. Okay, let's see if the pirates are still messing around here. Oh, man. We're just not even about to be kind, huh?
I'm restless.
Ready and willing.
Let's get an extended haste. Oh, oops. Guess I didn't prepare
A
extended haste.
reckoning is at hand.
Regular haste it is.
You can count on me.
Yeah, that's pretty much all
The
we
end
need.
draws near.
Die for me.
If your name's Red, you're going down.
Become as dust.
Not used to lighting
So many
enemies
Bard
on
songs.
fire first. Knife time.
Cannot hide. Nowhere to run.
Are you prepared to meet my end? Are you?
So where's your pamphlet?
Forwards.
I
The
don't
forest
like
makes care for
surprises.
everyone. Today it shelters and feeds you. Tomorrow it feeds someone else with you.
Seems no one noticed your entrance over the bustling noise of the tavern. That's impressive. I've already killed everyone outside. A young half-elf with long, slicked back hair and a delicately curled mustache and beard is making a solemn speech. He drawls and flourishes with his hands, and his pretentious red face makes it obvious he's enjoying everyone's attention. Laughter and shouts of approval can be heard from the main table. Many other guests aren't participating in the gaieties, however. Some are yawning, while others aren't even listening to the speakers. They focus on their meal. But what's this? Your friend Ivar sits with a long face, picking at a hunk of meat with his fork. Oh. The speaker raises his voice once more, and Ivar winces. So let's raise our cup, my brothers in arms and drinking comrades. Here's to the most enlightened monarch of our times, who brought prosperity and culture to Pitax, that skillful commander, famous the world over for his military genius. To the ladies' man who's broken so many hearts with his humble charm and aloof attitude. To that patron of the arts. That philanthropist whose generosity is matched only by his wisdom and taste. In short, here's to Iravetti. What a farce. His melodramatic eulogies are nauseating. Shush, he'll hear you and make a scene again, just like last time. Ah, Trebuchet. That's the one we know was on a secret mission. I'm surprised I remember his name from the letter. Finally, after emptying his glass, the half-elf notices you. Good gods, look, my brothers and sisters. Look who it is. Is that not Titus Arak himself? Did you come in your dirty boots and tattered hand-me-downs to spoil our feast with that gloomy, hungry look? Tell you what, if you abdicate the throne and swear allegiance to Pitax, I'll find a bone to throw you. Some dinner guests roar with laughter, while others look at you with interest. Maybe even hope. Everyone stops talking and watches you. Knock knock, who started falling asleep and even snoring while listening to the speeches, shudders at the sound of laughter and seizes his blade. Talk, 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 over? Stab time now? I could just talk to Ivar, but someone demands my attention. So, free singers and poets of Pitax, how much longer will you be oppressed by Iravetti, he who gags all discontent, lets only his favorites perform, and chokes art while pretending to be its patron? Stand beside me and fight, not for me, but for freedom. The soft murmur that began running through the hall during your speech swells into a roar. I won't write to dictation any longer. Down with Iravetti. Long live Titus Arak. What? Do you hear that? Pygmies and Hippins complain when they're not allowed to slander a giant among men. Our protector, Iravetti. My spirit seethes, friends. Let's show these vile traitors the bright flame held in our loyal hearts. Yeah, y'all fucked. I'm sorry. Time to test out Octavia's new sneak attack everything skill. Huh, I only saw one sneak attack though. Should be sneak attacking everyone.
Strike as one.
Read him.
This is for you.
If it only sneaks attacks one person, then it's dramatically less powerful than I was hoping. Learn charisma, of course. Well, how's it going, Ivar? Hello again, Titus. Ivar, human once more, catches his breath. I can't say your appearance was unexpected, but it was certainly impressive. I didn't expect to see you again. What brought you here? That's a long story. After we parted ways at Lake Silverstep, I went seeking a way to control my curse. Both my curses, really. My drivel could also be considered a course of sorts, or maybe a just dangerous gift. Well, I failed to oust the beast from inside me, but I thought I could at least do something of use with my tales, so I enrolled in Pitax's Academy of Grand Arts. I thought it would be a suitable place to learn to control my words. And it was, to an extent, but I also saw how words could be weapons. My family was killed due to my stupidity and deadly accident. The bards in Pitax, and especially here in Littletown, are learning to direct those skills towards murder and manipulation, and I'm afraid they really seem to know what they're doing. What happened here in Littletown? All kinds of sordid things. At first, they wouldn't tell us where we were being sent, but once we were here, things began in earnest. There were lectures, general meetings, we wrote pamphlets and songs. Whether the topic was love or war didn't matter, so long as at least one of the lines was used to smear you, Titus. I quickly realized what was going on, but I decided to stay anyway. I figured sooner or later the Arden King would show up, and I'd get a chance to thank him for sparing my life and teaching me a valuable lesson. You're still a werewolf. How do you live with it? The priest I consulted about lifting the curse couldn't help me. Maybe it was because I'm not ready to forgive myself. Not yet. But something has changed. I didn't hide who I was from the Academy's bards, and they weren't afraid of me. They didn't like me much, but they weren't afraid. To them, my ability to assume an animal appearance just seemed like another kind of natural gift. Dangerous though it may be, not so different from the gift of magic to them. Once I began thinking about it, I realized that now I don't have much to lie and hide it. It's become much easier for me to control my transformations. I know who I am. I know I can bring death and misery, but I can handle it, and maybe I can help those in need. It was an interesting lesson. So what do you do next? And travel. The further the better. My debt to you is paid, but now Iravetti's people will have cause to wish me dead. What? You're a bard. You can spin this how you want. You just managed to survive. The world is huge and full of new discoveries to be made. I'll find my own way.
Without a doubt.
Alright, so I feel like I killed a whole town of people that I'd intended to save by stopping piracy. Ah, that's a bit bugged right there. Alright, let's see what Lindsay had to say about this. Okay, so we eliminated the instigators and the people sending around pamphlets. We got someone working on where the monsters are coming from. Now we have to deal with bandits. And I mean, dealing with bandits is basically my specialty by now.
My strength betrays me.
I was threatened pretty heavily last time I showed up at the river bend. I mean, for good reason. I killed some merchants. Yeah, can't be visited. That's fine. Let's see if I can show up in Pitax. Okay. Not without taking on an army, it seems. Alright, so we got bandits on our border. But I don't see a whole lot of places where they would be.
My strength betrays me.
Oh, convenient. This is where he gathers monsters. Thank you, map clues. Oh, dang. I should have made sure everyone's spellbook was full before I had that rest. Okay. That's neat. What's a Kundia's wisdom at? So he's locked at 4th level spells. I might need to get him some wisdom items.
We not talk first?
Quite a few trolls here. Be a real shame if someone cast fireball, huh?
Do not.
Your life
Come here.
Okay, totally good thread, but they weren't so bad, despite having full plate.
Our path leads on.
We're gonna be real fat after we get out of here.
I won't let you down.
sorry was lost.
Where to now?
Patience.
Yep, still haven't rested, so don't have
Everywhere
those
I go,
spells.
a pall hangs over everything.
What's the holdup?
Together we are unstoppable.
Oh hey, it's those trolls I didn't kill. We see you before. Borba killed Father Kargat. We'd be alone long time, hungry, wait and search. Now Borba be here. I spared you once. Let's part in peace this day too. But no. I gave you guys a chance if you didn't take it. Borba are for eating. We kill you. Kill your other Borba. Then kill everyone. Ekin takes an arrow out of the quiver. His voice is painfully distinct in the sudden silence. And still I was right.
Does it matter?
I'll fight if I can.
I will guide us. Defeat is not an option.
What a waste!
Jesus, we're brutal as hell.
Without a doubt.
I'm not actually looking at anything, so I can maximize the utility of this haste spell. Whoa.
Hope it not fight back. Best kind of fight. Knock knock, you to lighting enemies on fire first.
Consider me provoked.
Sottenruppel. That name rings a bell.
We shall overcome.
Be easier if you
The trails look like.
I shall not. We march ahead.
Found some headbands of intelligence, but really, could have used some of wisdom for it, couldn't you? Steel wind and thunder crack. Ooh, greater speed? That's amazing. +5 agile shock scimitar. Runic mage blade, of course, because it's actually for Ragongar.
Yes, I'm still here.
Madritium Durinos. Madritium Durinos.
So far, this has been a highly profitable locale. And we're not even overburdened.
Any fun to be had?
Come here. Knock more runner and talker than fighter.
This is for you!
My search was not in vain.
I did as you asked.
Without a doubt.
Seems to be everything. So that's the monsters and the bards. Now there's just the bandits.
I'm not afraid.
Air elementals this time.
Strike as one.
Going up any higher and it doesn't count as Pitax territory. I just don't see anything for the bandits. Which is, I suppose, how bandits prefer to operate. Oh, hey, Jackster. Going good.
Stand with me.
Just, you know, dealing with Elder Fire elementals.
Which knife to use? Yeah.
Do not hold back.
I'll fight if I have to.
I'm leaking red all over myself.
Actually, things in the game have been going pretty good. I went from Baron to King, and, let's see. I've resolved some of the characters' side quest all the way. I think the majority of them. Amiri's coming up next. I gotta reforge her sword that got broken. The one that's iconic, that she keeps in her pictures. And then head back to the Six Bears camp. In my inventory it's called the Broken One, but let's go ahead and see if we can resolve that right now.
The end draws near.
I will guide us.
Amiri, you little thief, mortal fool interfering in the affairs of eternal beings. It's time to return what was stolen. Shove it! Amiri throws the sword at the ghostly giant, who catches it and gazes upon it, twirling it in his huge palms. Fine work. You surprise me, mortals. Your life is but a breath in the wind, a snowflake in a hurricane, but nevertheless you can at times create something that will last through the ages. The sword is even finer than the one that was stolen. It's mortal pride. We leave this world, so leave behind what we created. That's Torag's teaching. And what point is there in that? The sword may exist 1,000 years, or 10,000, or even 1,000,000, but even then, it will not survive the end times. Why do you need this sword? It is the prison of my beloved, hated brother Keen, the murderer of family and friends, a ruler who dreamed of greater power, but who instead destroyed the people he ruled. You nearly release Keen by breaking the sword, and he may yet free himself if the sword is not sealed. But do not be afraid, mortals. We have here everything for the ritual that will seal my brother and the sword forever. Ah, seems like he's not the normal giant I thought he was. My name is Fionn. Once my brother Keen and I were powerful rulers of the First World. Together we were nearly equal to the eldest, but not quite. Yeah, okay, not normal at all. Eternal, serene in our lands was not enough for Keen. He wanted more. He wanted to become equal to the eldest and conquer new lands. First he began to devour our subjects, drawing on their strength, and then he tried to do the same with me. As punishment I banished his soul into the sword, which later fell into the hands of Amiri. Okay, how did that end up happening? My brother was very powerful. When I imprisoned him in the sword for his crimes, I created a very dangerous artifact. With sweet lies, the sword persuaded my servant to plunge it into my body. It drained much of my energy, turning me into this pitiful creature you see before you. A ghost, a shadow of my former greatness. My brother, in turn, used this power to escape into your world, but in this he outwitted even himself. Our strength is linked to the magic of the first world. We are far less powerful here than we are on our home plane. Once here, the sword lost its strength, even its ability to speak. It did not bring happiness to the giant who found it. It did not bring happiness to Amiri who looted the giant's corpse. Having broken the sword, you nearly freed my brother, but now we shall seal it forever. Okay, so that's why I ended the Six Bears tribe, to get the sword and his brother back. What will you do now that you have the sword back? I will not avenge your theft. I never desired revenge. I only wanted to ensure my brother, imprisoned in this blade, would never break free. I once thought returning him to the first world would be sufficient, but now I realize this would not be enough. There's only one way to be sure. I will cast the spell of imprisonment once again, this time on myself. I will place into the sword all my strength, which my poor brother so craved, and thus I shall share eternity with him. This sword will become our common tomb. After that, Amiri, you may keep the sword for yourself, but not before the ritual is over. What happens if we don't seal him? My brother will free himself. He is an endless storm, greedy, cruel, unpredictable. He will do great evil, and he will start with Amiri and her tribe. He remembers you well, but I cannot see his mind. Perhaps he will seek revenge. Perhaps you will become his plaything. Either way, you will not survive. Alright, let's start up. The giant brings the sword to his lips, whispering a spell. A stream of light flows from him into the blade. Already transparent, the ghost becomes barely visible. The end is near. There is almost nothing left of me. I am the shadow of a shadow. I am dust and ash. My power, my immortality. I give everything to imprison my brother forever. There's only one thing left. To finish the ritual, the sword must be plunged into the heart of a chieftain. I would give my own heart, but I no longer possess a living body. However, there is another chieftain here. Do this, Amiri, and let eternity come to an end. Eli comes forward. Vion spoke truly of the threat of his brother's release. I must protect my tribe. Do it, Amiri. I'm ready. Step aside, girl. The tribe needs you. Hey you, evil spirit. A former chieftain is good enough, right? The ghost nods, and Achaia thrusts himself forward. Come, girl, strike. At least I'm still good for something. Amiri falls back, turning pale. No, I won't. I won't do it. What is this? What should I do now? Yeah. Sacrifice Achaia. Let him die with honor. Achaia steps toward Amiri, his back straight, his chin held high, looking hard into her eyes. Do it. With a deadpan face, Amiri swings her sword. That's it. The ritual is over, brother. I'm coming. Amiri kneels before Achaia's body and reaches down to close his eyes. Rest in peace, you old piece of crap. After all, you were a real chieftain, at least in the end. Well, Chief, now I'm done with the Six Bears. All my debts are paid. Now you're my tribe. I go where you go. I like the music of a completed side quest a lot. I've heard it a couple times now. Oh, I suppose we should speak to Neelik too. Enough complaining. Your duty is to take care of these dumbheads. Without you, they won't survive in the south. And you can't go north anymore. The old fart volunteered for it. Finally did something good in his life. Give him a good funeral. We will. Yeah. I'll let her know she was a good leader. Thank you. It's an honor for me to hear your praise. Everything changes. It's foolish to believe we can hide in the wide world in our icy mountains. We pay dearly for pretending the time doesn't touch us. I'm afraid the other tribes will pay even more. What are you going to do next? Let's go back to Numeria. We're not used to change. Even there, everything seems strange to us. But Numerian Kellage are not so different from the northern ones. We would not survive here in the River Kingdoms, even with your protection. Yeah, if you say so.
Our path leads on.
Alrighty. Yeah, let's head back home.
My strength fades.
Rudrin's Skig looks better than she did on your first meeting. Back then, she could barely stand for the wound she had received fighting the golem. Now the dwarf stands proudly at attention before you in polished armor. Your Highness, my dear Sir Harim, deeply respected servant of Grodius, the Skig clan has sent me to you to express our gratitude for everything you've done for us and present you with this humble gift. We crafted this for Sir Harim personally, from the middle of artifacts unmade by him. That seems cool. Something adamantine. Harim frowns, trying to hide his confusion, then nods and accepts the gift. Well, I'm glad you're alright. It's nice to see someone manage to make something useful out of those worthless scraps. Burned oak. Whatever that is. Cool. It is indeed perfect for him. Yeah, I'll just let him have perfection items to everything. Because Rim did not need the intelligence. I haven't changed Rim's weapon in quite a while. I mean, it's a fine weapon, but I wonder if he wouldn't do better with something else. Treasurer purchased the litter and hired the best dog trainer in the city. The beastly dogs are unmatched in the hunt. Minus 10 BP, but we got some other stuff. The warden got a few of the priestess's followers, and they were stealing money from the local town hall. The priestess and her pupils tried to explain that they would never condone such behavior, but no one stood up for them when they were deported from the kingdom. Jesus. Gotta deal with Pitaxian and everything. Proceed with seizing a territory. Huh. Oh. That's pretty amazing. It's a shame it didn't boost espionage too. Titus, the situation has become rather fraught. A group of mercenaries arrived in our lands to seek a better future. They've banded together for safety. Some have been hired by our merchants as bodyguards. Alas, their manners are low and the locals are prejudiced against them. They fight more and more often. The peasants want to banish the mercenaries from the city. The merchants expect us to protect them regardless of the peasants' complaints. If you ask me, we mustn't surrender to hatred. This matter should be resolved peacefully. Draw from the treasury to finance more guards. They'll put an end to these clashes. Nothing's going to change if we simply choose sides. We must mediate, though this takes money and a will for peace. Alright, that's fine. Whatever money we spend on new guards, it'll be worth it if it prevents any more blood from being spilled. Alright, I think I'm going to call things here for now. I had fun. Hope you did too. Be good.